The cold hum of the research station filled the night as Dr. Ethan Carter adjusted the lens of his handheld spectrometer. His breath was steady, even though his fingers trembled slightly. He'd been stationed on the outskirts of the Nevada desert. For 2 weeks now, studying unusual energy signatures detected deep beneath the barren sands. But tonight was different. The readings pulsed erratically. Something alive or something unnatural was down there. Ethan's radio crackled softly in the background. "All clear up here, Ethan. What do your instruments say?" He glanced up toward the base command towers. Blinking lights, still spiking. The source is definitely moving. "Bigger than any drone or animal we know." He crouched lower, eyes scanning the horizon. Then suddenly a shadow detached itself from the distant hills, a towering silhouette against the star-speckled sky. Ethan froze. It was massive. Nearly 8 feet tall, the figure moved with unnatural grace, limbs elongated and slender but powerful. Its skin shimmered faintly in the moonlight, smooth yet somehow textured like woven silk. The shape was unmistakably humanoid, but Ethan's mind screamed alien. His heart pounded. The figure stopped about 50 feet away. Then came the words, low, resonant and chilling. "You're too small to satisfy my species." Ethan blinked, disbelief crashing into terror. The voice carried a strange melody, neither fully human nor mechanical. It was as if the words themselves were a warning, a riddle wrapped in a threat. What?" Ethan stammered. The alien woman stepped forward, her eyes glinting like polished onyx. "You are insignificant," she said, "yet you are the only hope." Before Ethan could react, the figure raised a hand. The air shimmered, and in a flash she vanished, leaving behind a small, intricate device glowing with pulsating light. Ethan approached cautiously, heart racing. The device was cold, but hummed with energy. His instincts told him it was a message, a key to something beyond understanding. The silence around him was deafening. The desert seemed to hold its breath. His radio suddenly buzzed again, breaking. The stillness. "Ethan, status." He glanced up, voice trembling. I don't know what I just saw." His mind reeled. Who was she? What did she want? And why warn him with those words? Days later, the desert's strange pulse grew louder, as if echoing the alien's warning. Ethan was pulled deeper into a mystery far beyond human science, one that threatened not just his sanity, but the future of humanity itself. The alien device sat on Ethan Carter's lab table, humming softly like a heartbeat. Every scientist in the world would have killed to study such a marvel. Yet Ethan felt the weight of something far heavier than scientific curiosity. Days passed, but the device refused to reveal its secrets easily. Its surface pulsed with shifting colors, intricate patterns folding and unfolding like a living puzzle. Ethan had tried every method, X-rays, spectrometry, even attempts to interface it with his computer, but the device seemed almost sentient, responding only to him. One evening, alone in the lab, Ethan found himself staring into the device's core. Suddenly, symbols glowed brightly, casting eerie shadows on the walls. They looked like an alien language, but strangely familiar, as if the patterns resonated with some forgotten memory buried deep within his mind. His fingers trembled as he traced the symbols with a gloved hand. Then, without warning, the device emitted a soft pulse, and holographic images flickered to life above the table. Ethan gasped. The images showed stars, planets, and a distant galaxy. But what caught his eye was a depiction of the alien woman herself, towering and regal, standing beside other beings of her kind. A map highlighted several locations on Earth, including deserts, forests, and oceans. As the hologram faded, Ethan realized this wasn't just a warning anymore. It was a guide. But to what? Meanwhile, outside the base, strange reports began flooding in. Farmers near the desert spoke of missing livestock and unexplained lights darting across the sky. A wave of disappearances, mostly people living in remote areas, stirred. Fear among local communities. Government agencies responded with silence, dismissing the events as natural phenomena or hoaxes. But Ethan knew better. One night, the radio in his quarters crackled to life with an urgent coded message from an anonymous source. "Dr. Carter, if you want the truth, meet me at the old observatory at midnight. Alone." Heart-pounding, Ethan debated. Was it a trap or a chance to understand the alien's purpose? Curiosity won. At midnight, the observatory lay cloaked in shadows. A figure emerged, a fellow scientist from a secretive government project Ethan had only heard whispers about. "You've seen the device," the stranger said grimly. "We're dealing with something bigger than any of us imagined. That alien isn't just a visitor, she's a harbinger." "What do you mean?" Ethan asked. "There's a faction within her species desperate to survive. They need something from us, DNA, resources, something humans don't even realize, and they're willing to cross lines we never thought possible." Ethan's mind reeled. The alien's warning, "You're too small to satisfy my species," took on a new meaning. Back at the lab, Ethan worked feverishly, piecing together the holograms and coded messages. The deeper he delved, the clearer it became. This encounter was not random, but part of an ancient cosmic struggle. But the greatest revelation awaited him. During a late-night session, the device emitted a final, brilliant pulse, projecting a live image of the alien woman, her eyes filled with both sorrow and urgency. "You must understand," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "Our survival depends on a bond with humanity. But you are too small, physically and genetically, to fulfill it. Yet your spirit may hold the key." The message ended abruptly, leaving Ethan with more questions than answers. Was humanity doomed to be inadequate? Or was there a hidden strength within? As dawn broke, Ethan knew one thing for sure. The alien's warning was just the beginning of a far greater story. Cliffhanger. That very morning, news broke of a new disappearance. A prominent scientist who had been researching genetic mutations. The pattern was clear now. Someone, or something, was hunting those who might unlock the secret. The news of Dr. Mara Blake's disappearance spread through the scientific community like wildfire. Mara wasn't just any researcher. She was a leading geneticist, known for her groundbreaking work on human adaptability and mutation. Her vanishing sent ripples of fear and speculation through Ethan Carter's already strained mind. Ethan stared at the flickering screen of his tablet, watching the hastily recorded news footage of Mara's last known location, a remote laboratory nestled deep within the Rocky Mountains. "Why her?" Ethan whispered to himself, running his hands through his hair. The alien's cryptic message echoed in his mind. Humanity was too small, too weak, too incomplete. But was Mara the key to proving them wrong? A few hours later, Ethan packed his gear and prepared to leave for the Rockies. The government was keeping tight lips, but he'd managed to secure a permit for independent research. Something told him Mara's disappearance was connected to the alien woman's warnings, and perhaps to the mysterious device in his possession. As he boarded the small helicopter that would take him north, Ethan felt a mix of dread and determination. The desert, the strange holograms, the alien's cryptic message, it all seemed to converge on this moment. The rocky peaks rose like jagged teeth against the cold sky as Ethan approached the lab. The place looked abandoned, with no sign of life except for a faint glow inside one of the smaller buildings. Inside, the silence was oppressive. Ethan's footsteps echoed through the empty corridors, his flashlight cutting through dust and shadows. Equipment hummed quietly, but no one answered his calls. At last, he reached Mara's office. Papers and notes were scattered across the desk, and a holographic map projected faintly above it, marking several locations worldwide. One note caught Ethan's eye. It was a hastily scribbled message in Mara's handwriting. The bond is not physical alone. It's in the genetic resonance. Our DNA can evolve, but only if we unlock the alien code hidden within us. If they are searching for us, it's not just for survival. It's for transformation. Ethan's pulse quickened. Could this be the answer? Could humanity evolve beyond its limits through contact with the aliens? Suddenly, a noise from the far hallway snapped him to attention. "Hello," Ethan called softly. A figure emerged from the shadows, disheveled, gaunt, but very much alive. It was Mara. "I'm glad you came," she said, eyes wary but relieved. Mara explained what had happened. She had been working on a secret project, trying to decode alien DNA sequences that had been discovered years ago in meteorite samples. Her research indicated that humans carried traces of alien genetics, dormant and waiting to be activated. When the mysterious disappearances began, she suspected a connection with the alien woman species, a desperate attempt to accelerate human evolution. But the government had intervened, forcibly shutting down her lab and detaining her. She had escaped custody, hiding in the mountains to continue her work in secret. "The device you found," Mara said, glancing at Ethan's bag, "is a catalyst. It's designed to awaken the dormant genes, but it requires something else, a compatible host, and the alien woman's warning. She knows humans alone can't fulfill the bond." Ethan's mind reeled. The aliens needed humanity's spirit, but also some genetic trigger to complete their survival. If Mara was right, then the future of both species hinged on unlocking this evolutionary potential. "But how?" Ethan asked. "If humans are too small, physically and genetically, then what's the next step?" Mara smiled faintly. "That's the mystery we need to solve." Over the next few days, Ethan and Mara worked tirelessly, experimenting. With the device and her genetic samples, they discovered patterns, strange resonances in certain DNA strands, faint signals that pulsed in sync with the device's energy. One evening, as they prepared to analyze a new sample, the lab's security alarms blared suddenly. Red lights flashed. Ethan's heart jumped. "We're not alone," Mara whispered. The lab's doors slammed shut and automated defense systems activated. Outside, shadowy figures moved with precision, armed and silent. "They're here to stop us," Ethan said. Grimly, using a hidden panel, Mara activated an emergency protocol. A secret tunnel leading away from the lab slid open beneath a false floor. "We have to move, now," she urged. They hurried through the dark passage, the sound of footsteps growing louder behind them. As they emerged into the cold mountain night, Ethan realized the stakes had never been higher. They weren't just fighting for knowledge. They were fighting for humanity's future. Under the stars, Mara revealed the final truth. The alien woman's species was divided. One faction sought to dominate, harvesting human genes for power. Another believed in coexistence, hoping for a symbiotic evolution. Ethan and Mara had unwittingly become pawns in a cosmic game far beyond Earth's borders. And the device? It was a beacon, a test, to see if humanity was ready. Cliffhanger. As Ethan and Mara fled into the night, the radio crackled to life with a chilling message. The alien woman's voice again, this time closer and more urgent. "You have the key, but time is running out. The hunters are near. Trust no one." The cold mountain air bit through Ethan's jacket as he and Mara hurried through the dense forest. The only sounds were their hurried footsteps and the distant echoes of alarms and shouts from the lab far behind. Somewhere out there lurked enemies, silent, relentless, and deadly. Ethan's mind raced. The alien woman's voice on the radio, her warnings, the mention of hunters, made his skin crawl. How close were they? And what did trust no one truly mean in this nightmare? Mara's expression was grim but determined. "We have to find shelter and regroup. There's a place not far from here, an old safe house I set up years ago. It's equipped with everything we need to continue our work without being detected. They pushed through thick underbrush and jagged rocks until they reached a rusted metal door embedded into the side of a hill. Mara punched in a code, and the door hissed open, revealing a dimly lit bunker. Inside, the air smelled stale but familiar. Computers hummed softly, monitors displayed data streams, and shelves were lined with vials and samples. Mara's lifeblood. Ethan sank into a metal chair, catching his breath. "Who are these hunters?" he asked, finally breaking the silence. Mara's eyes darkened. "They're operatives working for a shadow faction within our own government, ones who have allied themselves with the alien species that see humanity as nothing more than livestock. They want to control or eliminate anyone who interferes with their plans." Ethan shivered. The betrayal ran deeper than he'd imagined. It wasn't just extraterrestrials. They had enemies on Earth too. The days blurred into nights as they worked feverishly, analyzing data and decrypting the alien DNA sequences. The device Ethan carried glowed softly in the bunker's corner, pulsing like a heartbeat. Mara's research revealed something astounding. The alien DNA was encoded with a genetic resonance, a kind of biological encryption that could unlock latent abilities in humans. But this activation was dangerous and unpredictable. Some who underwent the process might gain extraordinary traits, while others could suffer irreversible damage. "It's evolution on a molecular scale," Mara explained. "The alien woman warned us we're too small, not just physically but genetically. But if we can amplify the resonance safely, humanity could transcend its limits." Ethan nodded, feeling a spark of hope amid the danger. "So, this device is the key." "Yes," Mara said, "but it requires a willing host and a catalyst, something to trigger the resonance within." That catalyst, Ethan realized with a sinking heart, was himself. Late one night, as Ethan lay awake staring at the glowing device, a sudden noise startled him. Footsteps echoed outside the bunker, crunching over the snow-covered ground. He grabbed a flashlight and moved cautiously to the entrance, peering out through a small window. Two figures dressed in black tactical gear approached, their faces obscured by masks. They moved with precise coordination, scanning the area. Ethan's heart pounded. Mara was in the lab's other section, running critical tests. If they were caught now, everything would be lost. He hurried to the secure communications panel and sent a silent alert to Mara. Moments later, Mara's voice crackled through his earpiece. "Stay calm, Ethan. I'm locking down the bunker's internal defenses." The intruders tried the door handle, then pulled out compact plasma rifles, firing warning shots at the reinforced steel. "Ethan, we don't have much time," Mara said urgently. "I'm activating the lockdown sequence. Find the hidden escape." A tunnel. Ethan sprinted to a bookshelf that suddenly shifted, revealing a narrow passage descending into darkness. He slipped inside, just as the door was blasted open. The tunnel was cold and damp, lit only by flickering emergency lights. Ethan's breath came in sharp gasps as he hurried forward. After what felt like an eternity, he emerged into a cavernous, underground chamber. Strange glyphs adorned the walls, alien symbols he'd seen before in Mara's notes. In the center stood a massive crystalline structure, emitting a low hum. Ethan's blood ran cold when he recognized it. It was an alien bioreactor, the heart of their genetic experiments. Suddenly, the alien woman appeared from the shadows, her towering form illuminated by the crystal's eerie glow. "You made it," she said softly, her voice both warning and invitation. Ethan stared at her in disbelief. "Why are you helping me? You warned me. Said I was too small to satisfy you." She stepped closer, her eyes shimmering with ancient wisdom. "I am divided. Some of my people seek to dominate and harvest, but others believe in coexistence and evolution. You are the key to a new future." Ethan felt the weight of her words. This was bigger than anything he had imagined. A battle not just for survival, but for the soul of humanity. As they spoke, a sudden explosion rocked the chamber. The hunters had tracked Ethan here. The alien woman grabbed Ethan's arm, pulling him toward the bioreactor's core. "Trust me," she urged. "You must activate the resonance now, or all will be lost." Ethan hesitated, the device heavy, in his hand. His mind flashed with images of his family, the people who depended on him. With a deep breath, he placed the device against his chest. A surge of energy coursed through his body, burning and electrifying every nerve. His vision blurred, then sharpened. He felt strength he'd never known, heightened senses, rapid reflexes, and a strange connection to the alien woman beside him. Together, they stood ready to face the hunters. Cliffhanger. As the armed operatives stormed the chamber, Ethan and the alien woman prepared to defend their fragile alliance. But in the shadows, a darker presence watched, an unknown force with its own plans for humanity's destiny. The air in the cavern was thick with tension, pulsing with the hum of the alien bioreactor and the echoes of approaching footsteps. Ethan's newly awakened senses picked up every subtle shift. The scrape of boots on stone, the metallic click of weapons locking, and the low murmur of orders exchanged in harsh whispers. Beside him, the alien woman, her towering form radiant with an otherworldly glow, stood like a sentinel, guarding the last hope for humanity's future. Her eyes flickered with worry, but also an unyielding determination. "Ethan," she whispered, voice low and urgent, "the hunters are close. They seek to capture you, to stop the resonance from spreading. But you're no longer alone." Ethan felt the unfamiliar energy thrumming through his veins, a fire awakening within. The device's power had fused with his biology, enhancing his reflexes, strength, and awareness beyond human limits. His mind raced faster, processing the imminent threat with razor clarity, but something gnawed at him. The shadows in the cavern seemed alive, watching from places unseen. The dark presence from before had not moved. It lurked, waiting. Outside, the hunters paused at the entrance, exchanging glances. "Commander Voss," one whispered into his comm. "The target's not alone. Sensors picking up unusual energy signatures. Inside the cavern. Could be some kind of alien tech." Voss, a cold, calculating man with steel-grey eyes, nodded. "Proceed with caution. We want Ethan alive, but only if he cooperates. Otherwise, terminate." The tension in the air thickened as they breached the cavern, weapons raised, plasma rifles gleaming in the dim light. Inside, Ethan stepped forward, muscles coiled like a predator ready to strike. "You won't take me," he declared, voice ringing with newfound power. Voss smiled thinly, stepping into the chamber. "You're a resource, Ethan, a tool to be used. Surrender now and we can negotiate your safety." The alien woman's voice cut through the room, sharp and commanding. "You're outnumbered and outmatched, Voss. Leave now, or face consequences." Voss laughed. "Bold words from a creature we've hunted for centuries. Your species isn't welcome on Earth." Suddenly, the hunters opened fire. Ethan moved with lightning speed, dodging bolts that sizzled past him. He lunged, knocking one operative aside, using his enhanced strength to disarm and incapacitate. The alien woman raised her hands, summoning a shimmering barrier of energy that repelled the plasma bolts. Her form flickered with power, a living force field of alien technology and biology. But as the battle raged, the darker force lurking deep in the cavern revealed itself, a colossal shadow detaching from the walls, a sinister shape unlike anything Ethan had seen. It moved with unnatural speed, its eyes glowing red. With malice, Voss's team faltered, panic flashing across their faces. "Fall back! Fall back!" Voss ordered. Ethan and the alien woman exchanged a glance. This new enemy was a threat to all. In the chaos, Ethan's mind flashed back to the device and its resonance. It wasn't just a tool. It was a beacon, a call to awaken others like him, others who could stand against these hunters and the shadow. He realized that the alien woman's warnings weren't about him being too small in a physical sense. They were about humanity's potential, still untapped and underestimated. With a roar, Ethan channeled the energy surging inside him, unleashing a pulse that lit up the cavern. The shadow recoiled, but it was relentless. Suddenly, the alien woman grabbed Ethan's arm. "Enough!" she commanded, her voice echoing with authority. "We must retreat, regroup, and prepare." They raced through the tunnels, dodging the shadow's pursuit. As they reached the surface, dawn was breaking, painting the sky in hues of blood and gold. Outside, Mara awaited them anxiously, relief washing over her face when she saw them alive. "We barely made it," Ethan gasped. Mara's eyes narrowed. "Voss won't stop, and that shadow, it's not of this world. We need allies, human and alien alike." Ethan nodded. It's time to awaken humanity's true strength. Cliffhanger. As they planned their next move, an encrypted transmission, intercepted by Mara, revealed a chilling truth. The shadow was only the beginning. A hidden force from deep space was en route to Earth, with designs far worse than domination or destruction. The real battle for humanity's survival was just beginning. The sky over the ravaged city was an ominous shade of dark crimson, the aftermath of the shadow's assault still fresh and burning in the memories of those who survived. Ethan stood on the rooftop of a crumbling skyscraper, the alien woman beside him, her towering figure casting a long shadow against the blood-red dawn. Around them, the world was changing, no longer a place ruled by simple human fear, but a battlefield where humanity's true nature would be tested and revealed. "We don't have much time," Mara's voice crackled through the comlink. "The fleet from deep space is closing in. Their technology far surpasses anything we've seen." Ethan clenched his fists, the alien energy within him thrumming in response. "We've come this far because we never gave up. This ends today." The alien woman stepped forward, eyes blazing. "Our ancestors faced extinction before. We survived because we adapted. Humans must do the same." Inside the underground bunker, a gathering of humans and aliens took place, a fragile alliance forged by desperation and hope. Scientists, warriors, strategists, and refugees huddled together, sharing knowledge, technology, and plans. Mara addressed the crowd. "This isn't just about survival. It's about evolution. We must unlock the potential inside every human, the strength, resilience, and unity that make us unstoppable." A murmur of agreement spread through the room. Ethan felt a strange warmth as he looked around. For the first time, humanity wasn't alone, not in spirit nor in power. Meanwhile, the shadow creatures advanced with relentless fury, their dark forms blotting out the sky like a living eclipse. The alien fleet was nowhere to be seen yet, but the destruction they left behind was proof enough of their intent. The resistance had only one hope: Ethan and the resonance energy within him, a beacon to awaken humanity's dormant strength. The battle began with a thunderous roar, energy blasts lighting up the night, explosions shaking the earth, and the roar of both human and alien forces clashing with the shadow invaders. Ethan led the charge, his body glowing with the alien resonance, movement swift and powerful. Beside him, the alien woman unleashed her energy barriers and strikes, protecting the humans and breaking enemy lines. But as the fight intensified, the true enemy revealed itself. A massive shadow overlord, a terrifying amalgamation of darkness and malice towering above the battlefield. "You think you can defy fate?" the overlord hissed, its voice like grinding stone. "This planet will fall, as all others have." Ethan met its gaze, unflinching. "You underestimate us. Humanity is more than survival. It's hope, love, and the will to rise. With a surge of energy, Ethan and the alien woman combined their powers, sending a brilliant wave of light and sound crashing into the Overlord. The creature screamed, retreating into the shadows. But the cost was high. The alien woman collapsed, energy fading from her form. Ethan caught her, panic rising. "We did it," she whispered, a faint smile on her lips, "but the fight is never truly over." As dawn broke over the battlefield, the shadow forces began to retreat, defeated but not destroyed. Humanity stood, battered but unbroken. Mara approached Ethan, her eyes shining with pride. "You awakened something in us, a strength we never knew existed." Ethan looked out over the horizon, the first rays of the sun breaking through. "This is only the beginning. We must build a future where fear doesn't rule, where unity and courage prevail." Final lesson. The story ends with Ethan reflecting on the true meaning of strength. It wasn't physical power or alien technology. It was the resilience of the human spirit, the ability to face the unknown with hope, and the courage to change even when the odds seemed impossible. He understood now why the alien woman said he was too small at first, not as an insult, but as a challenge. Humanity's size in the grand cosmic scale might be small, but their heart and spirit, that was infinite, and in that infinite spirit lay the power to shape destiny.